Luke McCaffrey, the son of Ed McCaffrey, who was a former Giant, by the way. If you notice there, the picture we have on the screen for those of you guys watching the video, that is Luke there with his dad when his dad was a Bronco. The other person there with him, the other little guy, is Christian McCaffrey. So may ring a bell there. I don't know which one is which. I don't know that. The picture just happened to say here was Ed with Christian and Luke. When I took the picture,
we're looking at this, and there's a guy that's been in the league for a while, and someone coming out of college. I'm assuming Christian is the bigger one.
I would assume no, but I'm saying I would assume so as well, but I just don't want to say for sure, so I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, Luke McCaffrey played the last 3 seasons over at Rice, and then prior to that, played 2 seasons over at Nebraska. Started out as a quarterback actually in Nebraska. Prior to transferring over to Rice, he only had 2 catches in his 3 years. His 2 years over at Nebraska as a receiver. So, really was trying to be a quarterback, was their backup quarterback, couldn't quite get the starting role, and decided to shift gears at that point there. Goes over to Rice. He's 6'2", 198 pounds. He's 22 years old. Last season there, he was 13 games, 71 receptions, 992 yards, 13 touchdowns. Did actually rush the ball a little bit there. 15 rushes for 117 yards, had an 80.1 PFF grade overall. The prior year in 22 had 11 games, 58 receptions for 723 yards, 6 touchdowns. 12 rushes for 148 yards and 1 touchdown as well. So, I want to give the guy kudos for kind of shifting because he, again, he wanted to be a quarterback, couldn't quite hack it. I just accepted that. And I want to say gave up, but shifted to a position he was better suited for at that point. And obviously he's got the family background to go ahead and play wide receiver. And obviously his dad, I'm sure, coached him up a lot and taught him a lot of the stuff at that point. But listen, it's impressive. I don't care how small a school Rice is to go in after not playing receiver for years and go into a year and have over 700 yards receiving right off the bat.
100%.
And then almost have 1,000 yards the next season.
This might be the next Kelsey brothers saga going on here. You got.
I won't go that far. I don't think he'll be a Pro Bowler in this league. I really don't.
I'm not saying.
Well, I'm saying those two are Pro Bowlers. I don't think he'll be a Pro Bowler.
I was going to say very talented.
Okay,
brothers.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're all talented. Listen, you get even in the NFL draft in any way, shape, or form in the conversation, you're talented.
But who knows? Kelsey's always been a Pro Bowler, Jason. But a lot of people kind of overlooked him for a long time. And
yeah, it's funny. Later in his career is when he really got to be a big name, and I think part of that is because of Travis. As weird as that sounds, Travis was the one who wanted the attention and the shine, and that's why Jason got it. But I mean, Luke comes in, and I think he's got a wide projection there because he's a project. Let's be very frank. Again, 2 years in college, as a receiver, 3 years just, I don't want to say wasted, but kind of wasted as far as wide receiver growth, if that makes sense.
Yes and no, because the one advantage is wide receiver has to catch from a quarterback. Quarterback has to throw to a wide receiver. So you understand routes, you understand dynamics. So as a wide receiver that's played quarterback and you're in a scramble, you understand more of what he's going through and what he needs to go through and signals. So
yes,
it could be to an advantage. I'm not saying it's a 100% disadvantage, but you're right. He's not running routes, but it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter to that point, is because once he goes to the team in the NFL, he's going to be running different routes than he ran in college.
I mean, the route tree is the same. It's just a matter they might call it something different at that point there. The route trees are pretty much the same no matter where you play, whether it's high school even at that point. It's the same thing. They might have different names for them, different numbers for them at that point there. But, I mean, a 4 route is a hook route pretty much no matter where you go. A 9 route is a go route no matter where you go.
Yeah, and it's funny. Quarterbacks know that too.
I obviously they do, but I'm just saying you don't get the nuances of some of the route running stuff that you gain over time. I'm just saying he's raw, and that you can take that as a good thing. You can take it as a bad thing because you can sit there and say, okay, here's a guy who did almost 1,000 yards in his second year as a receiver, and again, it's his second year. He didn't play receiver very much, and he's got the good family tree at that point there. So again, I would take a shot on him later on if I needed like a fourth, fifth receiver, and what if he develops? He develops great, but worst case scenario, I got a bottom level receiver that's got some potential.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's what you have to kind of go with as far as him.
yeah. I'm not saying he's going to be the number one receiver, but
No.
he
I'm not
has,
suggesting you're saying that. But.
Yeah, he's got the potential to get up there to be like on your starting roster.
Yeah.
I think
his best.
low end.
I think his best bet he'll be is a solid 3.
Yeah, that's right. That's still a starter.
Yeah, depending what kind of offense you're in. But now, as far as his father, again, for those of you who may not be as old as me and Rob, we remember Ed McCaffrey very well, especially from his Broncos days. Played 13 years overall, 7,422 receiving yards on his career, 1-time Pro Bowler, 3-time Super Bowl champion. Once as a scrub with the Niners, and then 2 times as a feature receiver there with John Elway and the Broncos there. Started his career there as a Giant, as I said, the first 3 years with New York Giants. Obviously, along with Luke McCaffrey, Ed McCaffrey also is the father, as we mentioned, to Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in all of football, but also former wide receiver Max McCaffrey as well. So there's 3 McCaffrey kids, and looks like this will be the 3rd one to get into the NFL. So that's goddamn impressive.
Yeah.
So can't complain about that. That's for sure. Actually, their grandfather, and this is their maternal grandfather, was an Olympic sprinter. So they're just athletic genes on both sides all across the board at that point there. All right. Next up, another guy we didn't get to talk about in our receiver groups here. And I really wanted to find a picture of him as a little kid, and I couldn't find one. I just like the little pictures of the kids with the dads in the field. I don't know why. They're nostalgic for me to see that kind of stuff. It's cool.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.